Adrian Castellanos checked his watch for the third time as he sat in the elegant dining room of La Bernardine. His assistant had set up this blind date, insisting that at 36, it was time he stopped using work as an excuse to avoid personal connections. As CEO of Castellanos International, a billion-dollar luxury hotel chain, Adrian had everything except the one thing money couldn't buy: someone who saw him rather than his fortune. The woman who arrived wasn't what he expected. She walked into the restaurant wearing a simple cream-colored sweater and jeans, carefully out of place among the designer dresses and tailored suits. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and she carried herself with quiet dignity. Despite looking exhausted and uncomfortable, she approached his table hesitantly, and when their eyes met, Adrian felt his world tilt on its axis. "Emma," he whispered, standing abruptly. "Emma Rodriguez." The woman froze, her blue eyes widening in recognition and something that looked like panic. "Adrian, what are you doing here?" "I'm your blind date, apparently," Adrian said, still trying to process what he was seeing. "Emma, I can't believe it's you. It's been what, 18 years? Emma looked like she wanted to bolt, but years of survival had taught her to face uncomfortable situations with grace. She sat down slowly, her hands trembling slightly as she placed them in her lap. 18 years, she confirmed quietly. "You've done well for yourself, I see." Adrian studied the woman across from him, trying to reconcile her with the 15-year-old girl he'd fallen in love with when he was 17. Back then, Emma had been the scholarship student at their exclusive private school, brilliant and determined despite the poverty that made her stand out among the wealthy students. Adrian had been the heir to a hotel empire, expected to marry someone from their social circle. They'd fallen for each other anyway, sneaking moments between classes, dreaming of a future together. Then his father had discovered their relationship and given Adrian an ultimatum: end it, or Emma would lose her scholarship and her chance at the education that was her only way out of poverty. Adrian had been young and foolish, believing his father's promise that he'd secretly make sure Emma kept her scholarship even after they broke up. He'd ended things cruelly, publicly, making sure Emma would hate him enough to move on. It was supposed to protect her. Looking at her now, seeing the weariness in her eyes and the worn edges of her clothes, he wondered what had gone wrong. "Emma, what happened?" he asked gently. "You were supposed to go to Stanford, become an engineer. That was your dream." Emma's smile was bitter. "Life happened, Adrian. After you dumped me, your father pulled my scholarship anyway. Said I was a distraction to the more serious students. I couldn't afford the tuition, so I went to community college instead. Worked 3 jobs to pay for it." Adrian felt sick. No, he promised me he wouldn't do that if I ended things. "Well, he lied," Emma said flatly. "I met someone in college, got married too young to someone who seemed safe. Had a daughter, Lily. She's 7 now. The marriage fell apart when my ex decided fatherhood was too much responsibility. He left us with nothing but debt. I've been working as a nanny for the past 5 years, trying to keep us afloat." "A nanny," Adrian repeated, the word catching in his throat. Emma Rodriguez, who'd had a perfect score on her SATs, who'd won every science fair she'd entered, who'd been destined for greatness, was working as a nanny because his father had destroyed her future out of spite. "It's honest work," Emma said defensively, "and it lets me be there for Lily. The family I work for is kind, and I'm grateful for the job." "That's not what I meant," Adrian said quickly. "Emma, I had no idea. If I'd known what my father did, I would have helped. I would have done something." "What could you have done?" Emma asked. "You were 17, Adrian, and honestly, it doesn't matter now. That was a lifetime ago. We're different people." The waiter approached, and there was an awkward moment as they both realized they were supposed to be on a date. Not rehashing painful history, Adrian ordered wine, giving them both time to process. "How did you end up on a blind date with me?" Adrian asked when they were alone again. Emma's cheeks flushed. The mother I work for, Catherine, she's been worried about me. Says I work too hard and never do anything for myself. She set this up with your assistant. I guess they know each other. She made me promise to go. Said she'd watch Lily for the evening. I almost canceled 5 times. I'm glad you didn't, Adrian said honestly. Emma, I know this is awkward, but can we start over? Pretend this is just a date between 2 people who used to know each other. We can't pretend the past didn't happen, Emma said. No, Adrian agreed. But maybe we can talk about who we are now instead of who we were then. They talked hesitantly at first, then with growing ease. Emma told him about Lily, about her daughter's love of science and reading, about the challenges of single parenthood and the constant worry about money. Adrian talked about building his company, about the loneliness of success, about realizing too late that his father's ruthless business philosophy had cost him the things that actually mattered. My father died 3 years ago, Adrian said. Heart attack. I took over the company and discovered so many things he'd done, people he'd hurt to maintain power and control. I've been trying to fix what I can, but some damage can't be undone. Like my scholarship, Emma said. Like your scholarship, Adrian agreed. Emma, I can't change the past, but I can do something about the present. Let me help you. I can set up a fund for Lily's education, help you go back to school if you want. Just make sure you don't have to worry about money. Emma's expression hardened. I don't want your charity, Adrian. It's not charity, Adrian insisted. It's me trying to right a wrong my father committed. Your father's wrong, not yours, Emma said. I don't need to be rescued, Adrian. I'm doing fine. But Adrian had seen the worn edges of her clothes, the exhaustion in her eyes, the way she'd hesitated before ordering the least expensive item on the menu, despite his insistence. She'd get whatever she wanted. She wasn't doing fine. She was surviving, barely, and it was killing him to see it. Over the next few weeks, Adrian couldn't stop thinking about Emma. He'd gotten a number and texted occasionally, careful not to push, but unable to completely let go of this unexpected reconnection. She responded politely, but kept him at a distance. Then one evening, his phone rang at 2 in the morning. It was Emma, and she was crying. Adrian, I'm sorry to call so late. I didn't know who else to call. Lily is sick, really sick, and the hospital bills. I can't afford them. My insurance has this huge deductible, and I'm already behind on rent, and I don't know what to do. Which hospital? Adrian asked, already reaching for his keys. County General. But Adrian, I didn't call for money. I just needed to talk to someone, and I'm on my way, he said. Emma, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Don't worry about the bills. Just focus on Lily. He made it in 12 minutes, rushing into the pediatric ward to find Emma sitting beside a small bed where a little blonde girl lay sleeping, Kay, in her small arm. Emma looked up as he approached, tears streaming down her face. They say she has pneumonia, Emma whispered. They caught it in time. She needs to stay for a few days, and the medications are expensive, and I can't lose her, Adrian. She's everything I have. Adrian sat beside Emma and pulled her into his arms, letting her cry against his shoulder. You're not going to lose her. She's going to be fine. And you don't have to worry about the money. I'm taking care of it, okay? I can't let you do that, Emma protested weakly. Case, you can, Adrian said firmly. Emma, I've spent 18 years regretting how I handled things between us, living with the guilt of what my father did to you. Let me help now. Not because you're helpless, but because you shouldn't have to face this alone. Over the next 3 days, as Lily recovered in the hospital, Adrian was there constantly. He brought Emma coffee and food, made sure she ate and slept, and sat with Lily when Emma finally agreed to take a shower and rest. He got to know the little girl who looked so much like her mother, with Emma's blue eyes and determined spirit. Are you my mom's friend? Lily asked him on the second day, her voice still weak but curious. I'm trying to be, Adrian said honestly. Tana said, Lily observed with the blunt honesty of children. She works a lot, and she's always worried about money. I try not to ask for things so she doesn't worry more. Adrian felt his heart break. You shouldn't have to worry about that, sweetheart. That's for grown-ups to worry about, not kids. But if I don't worry, who will help my mom? Lily asked. Adrian took the little girl's hand gently. I will. If your mom lets me, I'll help. Would that be okay with you? Lily studied him seriously. Do you make my mom happy? Because she's been sad for a really long time. But when you're here, she smiles more. I'm going to do my best to make her happy. Adrian promised. When Lily was released from the hospital, Adrian had already arranged everything. The bills were paid, and he'd set up an account to cover any future medical expenses. Emma protested, but he was immovable. You can pay me back if it makes you feel better, he said. Take your time, no interest. Or you could let me help, because I care about you, and Lily and I have more money than I could spend in 3 lifetimes. Why are you doing this? Emma asked for the 10th time. Because I let you go once to protect you, and it didn't work, Adrian said. Because I've spent almost 2 decades building a fortune and wondering what the point of it was. Because seeing you again made me realize that some connections don't fade just because you try to forget them. And because I'm falling in love with you all over again, Emma. Or maybe I never really stopped. Emma stared at him, tears welling up. Adrian, we're from different worlds now. You're a billionaire CEO, and I'm a nanny who can barely pay rent. This isn't some romantic movie where that doesn't matter. You're right, Adrian said. This is real life, where it matters even more. Emma, I don't want someone from my world. I've dated plenty of women who understood galas and board meetings and saw me as a prize to be won. What I want is someone who sees me as just Adrian. Someone who challenges me to be better. Someone who built a life from nothing because she had to, and raised an incredible daughter in the process. I want you. For the following months, their relationship developed slowly and carefully. Adrian met Lily officially, took them both to dinners and museums and the park. He fell in love not just with Emma, but with the life they'd built together from scraps and determination. Emma went back to school, enrolling in an engineering program with Adrian's support. Though she insisted on student loans, she'd pay back herself. I need to earn this, she told him. I need to know I can do it on my own. You are doing it on your own, Adrian argued. I'm just making sure money isn't the obstacle that stops you. There's a difference between help and dependence. Emma, let people who care about you help. A year after their unexpected reunion, Adrian proposed. Not with a grand gesture, but simply on an ordinary Tuesday evening while they were helping Lily with her homework. Marry me, he said, pulling out a ring. Not because of our past, or because I owe you anything, but because I can't imagine my future without you in it. Because Lily deserves a father who will love her unconditionally. Because you make me better than I thought I could be. Emma looked at him with tears in her eyes. Are you sure? Adrian, I come with complications. Student loan debt, a child, a past that's messy. I come with a controlling dead father's legacy to fix, a company that needs to do better. In 18 years of regret, Adrian countered. We all have complications, Emma. The question is whether we want to face them together. Yes, Emma whispered. Yes, I'll marry you. Lily cheered, jumping up and down. Does this mean Adrian is going to be my dad? If you'll have me, Adrian said, kneeling down to her level. Only if you promise to teach me about hotels, Lily negotiated. Because Mom says I should always learn about business, and you have the biggest hotel business. Adrian laughed. Deal. I'll teach you everything I know. Their wedding was small and intimate, nothing like the society event Adrian's board of directors expected. Emma wore a simple dress. Lily was the flower girl, and they exchanged vows that spoke of second chances and the courage to love despite past pain in his toast. Adrian said, "People talk about blind dates as gambles, chances you take, hoping for connection. But this wasn't a blind date. This was the universe giving me a second chance to get it right with the person I should never have let go. Emma, you've taught me that true wealth isn't measured in hotels or stock prices. It's measured in the love of a good woman and the laughter of a child who calls you dad." Years later, when Lily graduated from MIT with her engineering degree, both her mother and Adrian in the audience, beaming with pride, she'd reflect on the blind date that had brought her family together. "Some people say you can't go back," she'd tell friends, "but I think that's wrong. You can go back if you're brave enough to acknowledge what went wrong and committed enough to build something better from the ashes. My parents did that. They took a past filled with pain and transformed it into a future filled with love. That's not weakness. That's the bravest thing I've ever seen." And Emma. Now, Dr. Emma Castellanos, with her PhD in engineering and her own consulting firm specializing in sustainable hotel design, would add, "Sometimes the disaster is just the beginning of the story. Sometimes what looks like an ending is actually a chance to start over and get it right." If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of second chances, redemption, and love that endures across time and circumstances. Leave a comment about reconnecting with someone from your past, or about how we can all be better at recognizing when help is needed and offering it with dignity rather than pity. Share your thoughts on building families through choice and commitment rather than just biology. Remember, it's never too late to right old wrongs. Never too late to say the things that matter. Never too late to build the life and love you thought you'd lost forever.